All right. Welcome to my screen, and this is Chat with Precious Jewels. But basically, I've not given much uh introduction about myself, but I'll save that for later. On this channel, I'll be giving outlook on the financial markets, basically top-down analysis of different assets, especially USD pairs, S&P 500, gold, and BEC. Let's cut the case. I'll head straight up into the DXY. So start all the way from the DXY. All right. Remember, I said the outlook of the financial markets, and my idea of analyzing the financial market is the top-down analysis, which is basically going over to the monthly time frame and trying to see what the market is actually doing, or what price is actually doing. All right, so this is the DXY, which is basically the dollar index, basically the dollar strength across all different pairs. That's the GBP, the GBP USD, you know, Euro USD, USJPY, just dollar strength across all pairs. So that being said, uh, this is the DXY. We can see a chart pattern, which is more like a reversal pattern from an uptrend to a downtrend, and price moving all the way back to this zone. All right, the blue bars you can see, the blue lines is seen here are just zones on my chart. So price moving back down here, coming in for a retracement, and then heading back down again. So this is a monthly time frame. Basically we can see bearish momentum of these monthly candles, you know, big bearish engulfing monthly candle, you know, coming down into this zone. All right, so on the monthly time frame, we're seeing a bearish momentum. I will go back to the weekly time frame. So on our weekly time frame, all right, on the weekly time frame, we literally can see price, you know, breaking down our zone right here and coming back up for a retest. After the retest, we're seeing a big bearish engulfing candle engulfing V's, 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 and V's. All right, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of 5 trading weeks with just this big bearish engulfing candle engulfing all of them. It's showing a bearish momentum to the downside. And if remember our characteristics of a downtrend, which is lower lows, lower highs, lower high, lower low, lower high, lows, lower high. So all these are pointing to the fact that the DXY is bearish. The trend of the DXY is basically a downtrend. Okay, so we'll go back to our daily time frame. And on our daily time frame, we're looking at the immediate trend. All right, so on our daily time frame. And from what we've seen, remember the characteristic of a downtrend, which is basically, from a high, pick a low, lower high, a low, lower high, a low, lower high, a low price, kind of like putting a lower high, but should expect for a downside movement. Well, then we've got the point of concern. But point of concern is this green bar over here. This green bar is a point of concern. All right, it's a point of concern just here. All right, so it's basically something. It's a point of concern. Why do we say that? All right, because price comes down here, price comes here, puts in a bullish engulfing pattern or a bullish engulfing candle. All right, heads back up for the retest. Price comes back down again, but fails to kind of break. All right, so at this time, we're failing to break here, and we might be forming somewhat like a pattern, a pattern down here, which is a reversal pattern. All right, but we can only speculate. We can only try to see what the market's gonna do and just, trade the direction of the market. All right, so that being that, uh, it's a bad boy around here, meaning price. I probably stop around there for some time, and then, you know, break to the downside, or you might see price, respecting this area and then coming back here for a retest, probably pushing back up. About 80% down, 80% bearish. All right. So if I plot my trend line, I plot my trend line and my feed. All right, so we're still expecting downside movement to 0.26 on my fib level. All right, we're just gonna watch the DXY for this week and then know what's gonna happen. So basically on the DXY, it's showing bearish momentum to the downside, which means we should be looking for shorts on Euro USD. Sorry, we should be looking for shorts on the USD JPY and USD CAD, while longs on Euro USD and GBP USD. That being said, head over straight to our Euro USD. So on Euro USD, okay, we'll start all the way from a monthly time frame. Let me take away my drawings. Take out my drawings for my charts. So I didn't say this. The Euro USD is basically the inverse of the XY. So I'm going to be quite faster. I don't want these videos to be quite long. All right, so the XY is the opposite of the Euro USD. You can see the same pattern on the XY. Price forming the same double bottom. All right, and it shows a reversal pattern, and boom, we'll break this zone, come back here for retest. Basically, it's showing a upward movement, which is uptrend. All right, so we'll let that be. Go out to our weekly time frame. I'm sorry, this is not entries, or it's just analysis on the different assets. My subsequent videos, I'll give entries. I don't really like doing that, but I'm probably going to give a few entries. All right, so on weekly time frame for the Euro USD, all right, we can see price breaking this level, coming back down for retest, and then pushing up. So on the Euro USD, on the weekly chart, it's basically an uptrend. Like I said, it's the opposite, it's the inverse of the XY. So that being that, we head over to our daily time frame. All right, so our daily time frame, you know, quite clear, right? This trend line is quite far away from recent price movements. All right, so this one, okay. So on our daily time frame, we can see price expecting this trend line, will come here for retest and will break up again. But like on the XY, which see this resistance level, you know, if we see price, I think probably this week we might see price pushing up, either price pushing up this level, breaking past to form new highs, or we can see price failing to break here and then pushing all the way back down. Well, like I said, 70% or 80% to the upside because of the extra right now. It's not really strong. The dollar is quite weak across all, assets. So that being that, we should expect for that upside movement on the Euro USD. Okay, so GBP USD. Most of my drawing are still on my charts, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, well, the GPUSD quite similar in a way to the Euro USD. All right, just next. Okay, we can see price coming here from the low. Uh, and Euro USD, our next low was probably, close to the previous low. Right, but for our GBP USD, it's a little bit different in the sense that our low is around here. Right, but it's still reversal pattern. Because, I mean, looking inside of here, we can see price coming down here, makes a respect, jumps back up, comes down here, makes a respect. And, it's all reversal pattern to the upside, which is basically change in trend. All right, so on a monthly time frame, we've got GBP from a downtrend to an uptrend. So on a weekly time frame, so on the weekly time frame, you can see price subsequently putting in higher highs and higher lows. And high, higher low, high, higher low, higher low, higher. So on weekly time frame, you can see GPS putting higher highs and higher lows, which is showing, an uptrend, a characteristic of an uptrend. So we'll go back to our daily time frame. Uh, if I'm too fast, I'm really sorry. I don't want to make this video quite long or lengthy. All right, so on our daily time frame, trend. All right, uh, daily time frame, price still making highs and higher lows. All right. So right now on the GBP you can see price kind of, pulling back. All right. Might be pulling back to the supply demand zone over here for further upside movement. Might be pulling back, for more upside movements. All right, but the GBP we're looking for price to make more highs and subsequent higher highs and higher lows. So I'm going long on GBP. And I go back to the USJPY, one of my favorite pairs to trade. Okay, so on USJPY, we can see a change, a chart pattern. You know, if you do a chart patterns, you can recognize this one, which is left shoulder, head, now right shoulder. So basically a change in trend. It's in a trend, and this is a monthly time frame. Okay. So on our monthly time frame, we can see price changing from an uptrend to a downtrend. So in break of this zone, head back here, with a touch here on the neckline, the price coming in probably moving back up. All right, so on a monthly time frame, we've got price showing us that we're changing from an uptrend to a downtrend. So coming back to the weekly time frame. All right, on weekly time frame, we can see, like I said before, characteristics of a downtrend, basically lower lows and lower highs, uptrend, highs and higher lows. All right, on this weekly time frame on our USDJPY, you can see price putting in higher, lower lows and lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So we should come in to put in another lower low. All right, so that being said, our weekly time frame, we've got UJ on, a descending, we've got UJ, showing bearish momentum. Remember, the USDJPY, the USD is the base currency, which we know the dollar right now is quite weak. So we're expecting further downside of the UJ. All right, so coming back to our daily time frame. So on our daily time frame, all right, for a trend line around here, looking at our points of the markets, at our points. So on a daily time frame for the UJ, uh, price, it's for some reason best known to the markets, it's not really been, should I say, for in direction I'd wanted to, flow since the dollar is quite weak. But for some reason, the UJ has been quite slow. All right, and price has consistently, you know, because floor price come back here, respects, jumps back up for a retest on this particular zone, comes back here, while we can see price come back again and kind of like, paying respect to this particular soon. All right. But with fundamentals, we're expecting more the further downside of the UJ. But there's a scenario of, we could see the UJ, since we're having massive respect to this level, we can still see the DJ pushing back up maybe for a bigger retracement or probably a pattern, what I can see this could be double bottom, you know. But we got weights. That's where patience comes into play in this market. We just have to wait. All right. So on the UJ, we're expecting for the downside, but at this time, the market's just not cooperating. All right, it's not just cooperating, but I'm going to update my analysis on the UJ. So that's all I have right now for the USD pair. So for Euro USD, we're going long, GBP USD, we're going long, USJPY, we're going short. Okay, so I'm gonna put on subsequent. I'm gonna make subsequent videos on these pairs and then on gold and S&P 500 plus RBEC because I've got entries. I've got set up some those other assets. All right, catch me again on more videos on analysis and entries on how to trade the financial markets. All right, once again, my name is Precious Jewels, and this is Chat with Precious Jewels. Please subscribe and turn on your notifications for more valuable content. Thank you so much.